Welcome to another great show of the All Around. I am your gracious host, Dr. Anthony, and we have some exciting things to talk about today. We have Miss Ida B back on the not podcast, but on the show, and I'm so excited about that. And we are going to just like dive right in, and she will join us as soon as she is able to get connected and get set up with her laptop and get her stuff situated. And so we will wait to hear from her. But so let's discuss this Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. I am not a fan of Kanye, so I really don't care or give two rats asses about what is happening to him. But in terms of Kyrie, I think the outcry and outpour for him to be, reprimanded was like premature. I actually watched the movie Hebrews to Negroes, and it the other day, and so it outlines, the religion and how Black people are part of the Jewish community, and so the the information was basically stating that Black people are the original Jews, and I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second, Mark. So it's basically saying that black people are the original Jews, and that the white people are basically denying it. The white Jewish people are basically denying that Black people are Jewish, and that it has a place in Africa, and things of that nature. So for them to say that they're going to cancel Kyrie, it's a bit much. And so, for me, I'm all about, promoting Black businesses and moving to an area where we're not ready to where we're really not codependent upon, our counterparts. So I'm gonna stop right there, and we're gonna bring Miss Ida B out, and we'll get some commentary from her, and then she and I'll go back and forth, discussing the two topics and giving our opinions and our thoughts, and we'll move on to some other topics. So without further ado, Miss Ida B.
Hey, everybody. I feel like I'm in a studio. I feel like I'm in a hotel lounge. But no, I got a new dining room table. So I have proper lighting. Hey, everybody. Long time no see. What y'all been up
It
to,
is. I
people?
missed you so much. You my sweetie pie. I missed you so much. How have you been?
Life is good. Life is good. I just been, so much have happened since I left you, the Dr. A fan club. And just like I said, the last time you talked, I think I had just got laid off from my job. Oh, girl, they gave me some goodbye money. I took that money and ran, girl, ran.
Okay, I'm ready for my dinner then. You can take me to eat. They give you some
Yes,
goodbye
girl.
money.
And you see, I've been decorating. I'm getting ready to start, like I said, a famous YouTube channel. But I
Mm-hmm.
just been chilling. I took like a 6 month sabbatical, and just been loving life, keeping track of you, keeping track of what's going on, all what's going on in the world. And the world is cray cray. The world is cray cray. Kanye cray cray. I was trying to get my Wakanda outfit. Oh, I haven't went yet.
Got
So
you kind of
let's
forever.
let's get the party started. Let's get the party
So
started.
I'm not a Kanye fan or whatever. So I could
Mhm,
give two rats asses about what happens to him, because he's always putting his foot in his mouth, and saying
mhm,
some crazy off the wall things or whatever.
mhm,
Because what really like tore my draws with him. Well, not my
mhm,
draws, but my panties with him, was when he said that Black people made a choice to be slaves. Make it make
mhm,
sense. Who in their right mind would give somebody, control or indentured servitude, or, being
mhm.
enslaved by someone, being beaten, and, things like that or whatever. So make it make sense. I'm gonna get to that.
Well, mhm, mhm. Okay. Well, it's sad that we have to keep saying folks ain't been right. Country folks ain't been right since his mother died. And last week or over the weekend, he said that his mother was sacrificed. And then he began to drag Jay-Z. Oh, yes, honey, the tea leaves, the tea leaves. And so he said he was going to take a 30-day silence. And he came back 3 days later, and he'd been all over the internet saying his mother was a sacrifice. Jay-Z, the Illuminati, he going to the Full Throttle of Illuminati. And what I realized, if Kanye didn't have money, he would be called our cray cousin, be like girl for crazy.
So he is the cray cousin. You know what I'm saying? But my issue with the whole thing surrounding his mother, people should have shut him down then. You allowed him into this space. You allowed him to be like this. When he got up there and he disrespected Taylor Swift and pulled the mic away from her and talking about Beyonce should have won, you know what I'm saying? Granted, Beyonce is a great performer. You already know I'm a diehard Beyonce fan. I love Beyonce. That's my girl. You know what I'm saying? I would travel to the ends of the earth to go be in her concert. But at the end of the day, you have to take into account all of the things that are at play. Taylor Swift has the country people. Taylor Swift has the pop people. She has the rock people. We make up 1 percentile of the people that actually votes and support those, award shows. So with all of that being said, she has 3 extra different categories, whereas Beyonce only have, her fans, along with maybe some R&B and some other fans, which is not going to equate to the fans of Taylor Swift because they outnumber us. So he has to take that into account. Not saying that just Beyonce should have won. Granted, she should have won, but when you put everything into play, she just didn't have enough support around her to push her numbers over the top so she could beat Taylor Swift. And you went up there and you disrespected this woman. You took the mic, you wouldn't let her speak, and everything just happened, so fast after that. And then he was still, everybody's making excuses. Oh, his mama just died. So what happens with the rest of us when our loved ones die and we have to, pick up the pieces and move the fuck on, excuse my language. We have to pick up the pieces and move on, and we have to deal with everyday life. We don't get that chance that they gave Kanye.
We get charges. Well, right, Kanye ain't been, but Kanye act up before his mother died. When he had President Bush, he's good for jumping on stages and not sticking to the what they call a teleprompter. And you remember the time when he said President Bush don't give a damn about us. And see, we've been having. I have a family member that have bipolar. He struggled mental illness, and we can tell when he have stopped taking no Act Right pill. And so we now have a 20-year history of this young man. And what I like about Kanye helped us understand mental illness. At first we thought he was pro-Black. Then you realize, a couple of weeks ago, he had the White Lives Matter. He was rolling with Candace Owens. He bought out Candace Owens' husband website or platform, And so when I think of Kanye West, the first thing come to me, several years ago, Jamie Foxx made a movie called The Soloist. And, and the guy was cuckoo. He was a genius, and they said by the time they came in contact
musical genius.
And Kanye is, but you could see he's in a bad episode of a brilliant mind that we are living out. And so anybody who have really dealt around mental illness knows that it's something going on. But then Black people are down for, we're going to support our own. Well, first of all, Kanye don't even represent the Black community. He never did. We have what I think about Kanye when I think about Whitney Houston, when we found out Whitney was messing with those white sugar boogers, and we struggle with that. And, the thing about the Black community, they have continued to be our downfall. We are the only set of people that keep giving people passes. We don't want people to be held accountable, but these people don't even mess with the everyday people. A couple of months ago, when he told Gap, I want you to put my clothes in a garbage bag and make people look for what they want to buy, like the homeless. Kanye ain't never been homeless. And so could you imagine We have seen Kanye now puts me in mind of Wendy Williams, Britney Spears, where he need to go. Somebody need to have a conservatorship over him, because he have done so much damage that a percentage of us feel unsafe with him. Other than Kanye, and if he was not a multi-billionaire, he was not in this genius realm, we would have been said he needs a check. He needs to be somewhere where he could be on the meds. Now he acknowledged that he has some mental illness. But last week he talked about the Illuminati. He said that his mother was sacrificed. Now, when you think of the Illuminati, which I don't buy into that so much,
No.
so you saying your mother was sacrificed so you could become a millionaire?
Okay, let's talk about this with his mother. As a matter of fact, Kanye was already a millionaire when his mother passed. Okay, so let's just address the elephant in the room. Kanye's mother went to the doctor's care because she wanted plastic surgery. Okay, so for y'all in TV land that don't know that, all right. So Kanye's mother was advised that she could not have the plastic surgery until she did certain things. So in the medical terms, it's called AMA, against medical advice. So she was told that she needed to do X, Y, and Z before she would be eligible to perform the surgery on her. So she being Kanye's mama, oh, I'm Kanye West's mama, I'm gonna go get my surgery regardless of what you say or not. So she went to one of those countries. What was it? Belize, Mexico's one of them, to have her surgery. And these people do not follow the same board of ethics that the United States follow. So what they did, they got that Trilla, they got that money, they got that WAP, they got all of that. You know what I'm saying? They took her money and they took out so much stuff out of her body. Her body went into shock and her heart bust open and she died on the table. So when people are telling you that you can't do X, Y, and Z until you do this, you have to listen. So what was the sacrifice in his mother going against what the doctor said? Where was she sacrificed at? She did damage to her own self because she was arrogant and she would not listen. And she's like, I'm Kanye's West mama. I can do what I want to do. So you did what you did what you wanted to do, and your end result was you got expired. You died.
And then when she came to the United States, then we had to rush to try to help her in this private facility.
Yeah, they had to try to help her, but it was too late because you didn't listen.
Yeah, but I tell people, I have had a procedure. I done went to a plastic surgeon, and the plastic surgeon. These people are in the business making money. They don't want to tell but at the same time, nobody's trying to lose their license and have a mark of an unneeded death because they didn't say. So I know I had a friend went to a couple of years ago. I got a tummy tuck. Oh, best decision I ever made. The only thing hurt when I swiped my credit card. So several of my other friends went, and one he said, you need to lose weight. Your BMI is too high. One person, he said, you smoke. Your blood would thin out. One person, and he was very methodical. Several of these people went to the DR, went out of the country, and when they came back, they suffered greatly. They almost died. And so, we live also in an environment we want to be told no. And the more money we get, who are you to tell me no? I'm safeguarding your life by telling, and like you said, it wasn't no permanent, just do these things and come back to us. And even though somebody had an article about it in the news, and they said even though she was Kanye West's mother, that woman had her own set of insecurity. Sometimes you have a PhD, you have a doctorate, and I used to say people think the more educated you are, like you don't have flaws, you don't have insecurity, and they begin to put people on a pedestal. But at the end of the day, we put our clothes on the same way, and we all have our own set of problems that we work with. But like she said, I'm Kanye West's mother. Kanye even had liposuction a couple of years ago because he said TMZ was bullying him and picking at him. But he married into the plastic family. It is known that they have their own, one of the Blotch doctors, they have a plastic surgeon facility on their compound where they continue to get work. But then when you really engage these people live in a bubble. Kanye lives in a bubble. And even if Kanye didn't have mental health issues or mental illness, you could see he's very detached from the everyday person. And so when I think about a person like Kanye, if I follow his music, which he had the #1 Christian music last year. He won an album, the guy is a musical genius. But at the same time, I put him over there with Elon Musk. He got some cuckoo for Cocoa Puff stuff going on.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, but the thing about it is people, you can't say that, he's okay in this capacity, but this is what you allowed. You did not correct the mistake. You let him go on and on. Oh, his mama died. He's going through issues. Just like the rest of us. We go through issues, but we don't get those passes. And like I tell people, you created this monster. You allowed him to do these things. You allow him to disrespect people. You allow him to be in spaces and, say crazy things and, do crazy stuff without the checks and balances. Oh, now, so since he done pissed off the Jews, you know what I'm saying? And, his money
but
is
like Nick Cannon. You remember what happened with Nick Cannon when he pissed off the Jews?
Yeah, so he had to come back and apologize. But my thing is, I'm like this, and I'm consistent. I don't give a damn who it is. You can be white, black, purple, blue, black, indifferent, whatever. I'm gonna stick to my people first. Because I don't give a damn what you got going on. Because I love my kind first. You come second to me. You don't come first to me. And that's with anybody. I don't care if you're white, Hispanic, whatever, Indian, Jewish, whatever. That's you and your kind. You don't come first to me. I come first and my people come first. Then you come second. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is, we are the only race of people that get chastised for not supporting other races and not supporting this and not supporting that. But they can come out the woodwork and say whatever the hell they want to say about black people, and they have done it. And there were no checks and balances. So I don't give a shit about what they say about you. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm about my people and my kind and, what we stand for. Because I'm a black woman at the end of the day. I'm not a black Jewish woman. I'm a black woman at the end of the day. And I'm going to support my own and I'm going to support my kind. And I've always stated that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, these people expect us to, put them on a pedestal, support them, support their initiatives and support what they got going on. But the second that we band together as black people, we're extremists. You know what I'm saying? We going against the government? We going against this? Nah, we are supporting each other. And, my thing is we need to band together and stop being codependent on these other folks. And we need to create our own stuff. We need to have a black NBA, a black NFL, black everything like the way we were. Because a lot of people don't even know that, Black Wall Street was bombed by the U.S. government. In every city, it was bombed by the U.S. government. White people stole land and property from black people. They just gave back the beach that was belonging to a black family in California a couple of years ago. They just gave them back their property because it was stolen, illegally. So my thing is, you can't make us, we need to just stop being codependent. At the end of the day, and we need to, adjust and, go back to having our own and, doing things in our own light and, moving forward in that regard.
Well, I always like to play the devil advocate.
Play the devil advocate, Ida.
I think the problem that while we can never accomplish that goal, because we're still operating generationally under the Jim Crow concept, separate, divide, and conquer. I could invite 20 black people to my home, and we will begin to judge and disseminate. We'll begin to do the brown bag stuff with us. And what I've learned, who I thank most for, I actually think, I don't want to break out with Hive, Donald Trump. White people, unlike other culture, white, Asian, other groups, they will band together even if they dislike each other. And who I said, and who I said did it best? I call them the LBG, the alphabet people. Poor Dave Chappelle and ruined that expression, but they will band together for one cause. They will come together, even if behind closed doors they don't like each other. They are able to present a uniform front. If we say something against Kanye West, the Black women, we're the most attacked set of people sector-wise than anyone in the world. And we're attacked by our own set of people. So if on the other side of the white community, I could see how they're able to constantly infiltrate our community, disseminate our community, because our community now really don't want to operate as a community. And so, like you said, and so it brings some true sadness to. I done heard some people say, that's not my fight, that's not my battle. Like when you and I say, no, I'm not giving Kanye a pass. Should we, the Black community, we always protect our own. We protect people. That young man had on White Lives Matter. And you got certain things that can no longer be dismissed. Period. I like the T, period. We can't, you got certain things we just got to, back in the day, we used to deal with our own privately. Black, bless you. We used to deal with our own privately, that you would have someone in his circle that will pull him aside. He goes vigilante. I shook when they said they were selling Elon Musk Twitter. You got someone that also exhibits some mental illness that now have a platform where he gonna go buck wild. He got, bless you. And I think what I like about these individuals, on a sad note and a positive note, they dispel our concept of rich folks, wealthy folks, better than us folks, a different class of folks. But see, I don't call Kanye Black folks. I put Kanye in rich folks bucket. And the reason white folks really leave, you see, Kanye lost what, $460 million in a day. See, they didn't care Kanye talk about us, because hell, we talk about us. But what I have learned, the Jewish people are in a very protective class. And the other basketball player, which I didn't see this movie. And
Kyrie, I saw it. It talks about religion. Kyrie Irving. It just talks about religion and
and now he's being punished. But they had already punished. You remember when they punished Nick Cannon? And they punished him so good. He's been having babies, stuff to make them leave him alone. Just let me. As a matter of fact, he just had another baby. Oh God. But yes, I think when we think about the Black coalition and the Black movement, the reality, I just think we're at a point where people just don't care. The Blacks don't care about our plight.
I don't think they don't care. I think some of us actually care. And then, you have the other ones, like you said, it's not my fight. But the thing about it is, my question to the white people and to the Jewish and whomever else, why the fuck are you scared of Black people? You know what I'm saying? Because if we really wanted to be angry at you, and if we really wanted to do you something, we could have done you something a long time ago. But that's not our MO. That's not what we're after. We're after, uplifting our people and moving our people to a place where they're successful and, out of the hood, because you have T.I. now who's buying up the block, and other people who are buying up the block, and things like that, so we can have affordable housing for Black people, because it's systematic throughout whatever we do that they try to keep us out of everything. And so we need to finance our own Black banks, and start putting our money in our Black banks, so our Black dollars can work for us in the Black community, and bring things to our children and our elders and other people, so that they can have the same like they have. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want. We don't give a shit about you otherwise, because like I said, if we wanted to hurt you, we could have hurt you a long time ago. But that's not where we are, and that's not where we're moving to.
But I think when you talk about that, where's the movement going? The other last Monday, I think it was Monday, Monday. I early voted last Saturday before last, and several of my friends said, "Ada, are you going to watch the race?" I said, "No, it caused me too much anxiety." I thought about Herschel Walker versus Warnock, and I say the very people we are fighting for won't vote. So the thing that always get me, the rights that we have, that people have died for, we don't properly unify. So as a Black person, I would unify publicly, but behind closed door, I scratch my head, I'm perplexed. that these are battles we're fighting to create, like you said, you got entertainers and people of authority, black, trying to save people that don't want to be saved, you
And
know.
that's the truth.
And so I struggle with how much to help. Like the other day, I went to a event, and it was some local entrepreneur, and it was several black women there. I went around, I tried to order, buy some for everybody. So I got home, I said, this is poor quality. You don't pay $30. You're doing hashtag support a black sister. And I gave this thing to Goodwill. I said, no offense, the person had on a AKA pink and green. And I said, this is poor quality. I said, you bought this trying to support a black woman. But I said, now, if you go and give feedback and say, hey, you know, so all the other table, if I skipped her table, then I'm not supporting my own. And so I had a family member that had a table, and they had the table set up like they were on the Ritz. They had went all out, and you know, and we were supporting. I said, oh, okay. And then I seen my white counterpart, and you know, so I said, I'm going to buy some for all the black people. And so one lady was like, Mary Kay. I said, well, that's not a black owned business, a franchise, blah, blah, blah. I said, honey, I'm trying to support you. Give me somewhere I can spend $10 and go on about my way. I said, because that's not your business. That's somebody else's business. And like I said, Ada, now, are you really, you want to support black owned, but I said, Ada, this is not quality this person had presented to you. So I was in but think how I resolved. I gave her $30 and I gave the stuff to Goodwill.
Well, I'm not. I mean, regardless of it's black owned or not,
so
because you already know me, I'm gonna pump you up to buy it before I buy it.
You know, and so I, you know, so I said later, you know, should you have given this person feedback? You know, and so I said, well, how much is this? I said $30. I said, oh, damn, most this thing that came from $1, so she put some glue on it, such and such. But you know, you got this white audience here, so you're trying to create a balance here. And you and I, when we talk about, I'm a low key foodie. I love going to a nice restaurant, and I love tipping. I consider myself a great tipper. And so I had an incident where I had a black server. She had a whole attitude, was bad service. And I said to her, I said, well, I want you to take this off. Now I know when I say take it off, that generates that manager to come on in the house. And he called, and I had to say, now, and so I said it was to me, if I said black on black crime, I said I had to weigh in to allow this person to continue to give me bad service. I said, now, if I was at a low-key hole in the wall, I would almost expect that. But I said, this is a 5-star restaurant. No, sir, no, ma'am. And so I think when you and I deal with the everyday struggle of our blackness, of our queenness, of our community, it's a balance. You got a percentage of people that just don't care. I was talking to someone the other day about Bitcoin or crypto coin. She was asking me, I said, no, ma'am, Google it. I said, how the hell you don't know about Bitcoin crypto? But that person had a whole conversation about Fendi and Louis Vuitton. And so you see, and one person was 20, one person was 50. So I think, you know, I buy into the narrative because these are our people. But I do have, so what I've learned as talking to you and being on the show, I to find your niche, find your population of black people that you want to have. And you know what I realized? Young black girls going to college. I've been now being a big sister. I said, go somewhere where you can support the effort. You could be the auntie or the elder. But when I get to the Blanco and now, like I said, the Kanye stuff is nonsense. When I think of something, my thing that always irked me, why don't people vote? Is your civic duty. You got people coming to this country that they would do a tenth of what we don't take advantage. People come to this country and they become wealthy. They get a lot of the benefits. But I sat there and I told my friend, please give me, he said, you want your wine? I said, no, I need some gin tonight. I'm going to sit there and watch this. And then I see the runoff between Herschel Walker. It have to be I said, how? This person had been sent by Donald Trump and the Republican to take this state. It's all over the news. How does Stacey Abrams didn't win? And I'm just like, really? And I get mad with my own community. Don't you care? These people are fighting to help a better life for you, and you don't care. So I think when I hear this, no, don't get me wrong, the pro-blacks, I really have a hard time really conceding into that. I will
Well, the thing
support to a
about,
certain, go ahead.
okay, I'm sorry, because let's unpack.
No.
You said a lot. Okay, so let's start with the races in Georgia. Okay, so the Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock race was it was like 49.4% for Raphael Warnock, 49.1% for Herschel Walker. So that race was going to go into a runoff or whatever, because it was like it's like the standard deviation, the error of margin was too little to make the.
But it shouldn't even been that. Georgia, what I like about Republicans and white folks are going to effing vote. Period.
They are going to vote. Exactly.
We only vote during high level.
And the thing about it too is Stacey Abrams broke numbers. She made records with the young people and the millennials and things like that. They did what they were supposed to do. They went out and voted. Where she lost was with the white women. And this is my issue with white women. They always say that, they want black women to step up and fight for them. Why the hell should we step up and fight for you when you go to the ballot box and you vote against your own best interest, which also has, a direct effect on us? So why the hell should we fight for you when you vote against us? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I have a problem with that whole feminist, type mindset and that feminist type BS. She lost because of white women. White women voted for Brian Kemp in Georgia. That's how she lost. You know what I'm saying? And even
if where's the black folks in
they stepped up. She had 18 point something million votes, and she lost by like about 5, 6, 7,000 votes. They stepped up, but we can't win. We can't win alone. We have to have other populations, other races to vote in those races. But I'm telling you, the white women voted for Brian Kemp, and that's how she lost the election.
So they were I still don't concede. You got black folks right now to tell you openly, I don't vote. I don't vote.
Well, my little brother just told me that. My little brother just told me that this week.
And they said, I said, well, are you a Jehovah's Witness? Are you not? What does it matter? And so that's the part, like you said, where you got to almost disconnect, not to become angry.
Because they don't trust the process and they don't believe in the system or whatever. But at some point, you're gonna have to trust the process and you're gonna have to believe in the system. If you don't vote, of course you're not going to trust the process. But if you don't vote, you have no right to say, X, Y, and Z, or say yay and nay about anything that's going on. Because guess what? You did not vote. You did not participate in your civic duty. Your vote is your most precious commodity that you have as a person. And, to say that, it does not count and it does not matter, that's the most asinine thing that I've ever heard. And, that comes out of a person's mouth, so, even for, let's go back a couple of years when Hillary was on the ballot. You had people writing in on their ballots, Harambe. You know who Harambe was? Harambe was that orangutan that was in that baby fell into the pit. That orangutan, that was Harambe. So that's who they voted for, and that's who was their vote was cast for that animal. But because you thought it was funny, we lost an election to an idiot because you did stupid stuff. You voted for a Green Party member who we already know that was put in the race to deflect votes from Hillary. And that was stated that was her sole purpose, was to deflect votes from Hillary. And then you have people like us who are trying to explain to you, the processes and what's going on, and you telling us like, oh, I'm not voting because of this, I'm not voting because of that, and I'm not voting. Well, quite naturally, if you don't honor your civic duty, you're going to think the system doesn't work. You're going to think the votes doesn't work. And the prime example of showing how votes work was when they were trying to steal the election from President Biden. You know what I'm saying? They have to cheat to get into office. That's why, when it comes to, like gerrymandering and redrawing the lines, they redraw the lines so that it reflects Republicans and that they can get into office. But you sit here and you say you don't vote for, X, Y, and Z. So you have no dog in the fight if you don't vote. And that's just crazy. And let's talk about, how the Republicans thought that they were going to have a red wave, and they got stopped in their tracks because they didn't have a red wave. Because when I was on this other show, they were like, oh, the Democrats are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. No, the Democrats are doing what they're supposed to be doing. You have to listen to the messages that's being spewed, and you have to ascertain what you want to ascertain from it. A lot of it was surfacing around Roe versus Wade, protecting the rights of women. And like I explained on the other show, it wasn't even about Black women. It wasn't about Hispanic women. It wasn't about Asian women. It was about white women. So if you take a look at the birth rate of white people, the birth rate of white people has been on the decline since, years past. So they're looking at it in terms of, we're not going to be, the majority, the mass majority, and we're losing people. We, basically the white women are not having babies. So, what we got to do? We got to force them to have these babies. So, they overturned Roe versus Wade. So that is, an indicator of, population control, and you're trying to get white women to have more children so that your race won't die out. And because all the older white people are dying, they're on the chopping block. They're expired. They're expiring. You know what I'm saying? So I'm being serious. Be real.
Yeah,
you're trying to do what you got to do to protect your race and to protect your own. So my thing with that is, to white women, how do you expect black women to step up and fight for you when you vote against your own best interest, regardless of, the outcome? You still vote against your own best interest. It was shown in Florida when they put DeSantis back in office, when they put Rubio back in office. It was shown when they voted for Trump. You don't give a damn that he was a sexist and, he inappropriately touched white women and things like that. But what you want to keep into power is that white supremacy and your white privilege. That's what you want to keep in power. And that's what you vote to protect. And that's just the bottom line to it.
But from, like you said, they're doing what they supposed to do. They got the cheat sheet, they got the cliff note, and we already know the outcome from the last census is more Black and brown people in the United States. We would win these races by default. So almost like I would say I remember 20 years ago, I worked for American Express. And the LBG community wanted, was a financial aspect. They wanted to gain foothold, and American Express began to woo certain organization. We had a openly gay VP, and what they did, I'm not mad at them. They took the playlist from the civil rights movement.
Oh, of course.
They behind closed doors, they would say, okay, Ida, if you vote, I just vote for such and such, I will then allow you to do such and such. But what we do in the Black community, it's an all or nothing. If I can't have what I want, we're not the best negotiator. We're not the best debater. We get into our emotions very quickly. But also we have came from a generation of people that didn't vote. Well, my vote don't count. For you to say to me, which I didn't know, she lost by 5,000 votes, that's still bullshit, because she shouldn't have lost, period.
She shouldn't have.
When you got people that you can't make people care about themselves, I'm not, I used to tell people, my biggest battles didn't even come from the white folks. It came from people in my own camp.
It did.
And so, you got, you now have these 10 things you never talk about at a dinner table. Religion, voting, Wade versus Roe, politics, R. Kelly. You got people you got people you add on there. Hell, now we done put Kanye West on there, because you got people to, instead of saying he woke, no, he got mental illness. And so when you begin to talk to the average Black or the average person, when they cannot articulate their point, they become angry and enraged. But yet, like you said, we're in a country that people. The other day I was watching the news, and they had 50 immigrants in a transfer truck in the back. and they've been in there, and they were willing to do whatever it took to come here. And I think, like you and I have said, it's something about coming to America through slavery that some percentage of our Black people are never going to get. They're never going to do their part to not make America great. Yes, we can. You got people in your own community, they don't get the maximum everything they can as a citizen. You know, I just recently applied, I got VA benefits. The first thing they said, do you know you don't have to pay property tax? You don't have to pay. Girl, I went and got everything. I said, look, okay, what's else on the cheat sheet? Some people like, I just want my money. I said, no, I want everything owed to me, empty out to me. And so, you know, people say, well, you know, or like we are a culture of giving people passes. We live a life because we don't, you know what I said to someone? Sometimes you don't know how to fight the battle, so you're afraid to win the war, so you just shut down. You go fight, flight, or frozen. You got, when I talk to you, you hear all this fighting you, and you got me. Sometimes I'm frozen. Sometimes I want to fight. You know, I pick my battles. And could you imagine? You're fighting. You are educated. You work in an education system. You are fighting to create a mindset for a set of generation to go to be president, doctors, and then you're fighting with people, parents. You're like, so shouldn't we be on this like the same team? Shouldn't we be fighting because it's about your son or daughter? But you got people, I don't like how you talk to my child. And then you say to yourself, aren't you missing the moral of the story about education? And
I don't fight
you know, huh?
I don't fight anymore.
Oh, stop it.
I'm to the point now where it's like, you know, I'm okay, so I'm close to retirement. So I'm not about to battle with you and your child. I'm just not going to do it. I'm tired. I'm tired of the fight. I'm tired of, you know, like the disrespect. So if that's what you want for your child, so be it. So from here on out with me is okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
You're awful. You said,
oh no, because I've been there, and like you said, they missed the point of you know being in the grind for your child. And you know the thing about it is we're supposed to be on the same side. But when you telling your child, oh, I don't care what she said, you go up in here and you do this, you do that. Prime example. So we were having the 5th grade graduation when I was in elementary. So I told the child, I said, you cannot wear those glasses walking, you know, in your moving up ceremony. So he goes tell his mama that I said that he couldn't wear his glasses. So she get, you know, all upset with me. I said, you can wear your glasses. You can do this. You can do that. But your son can't read. So, you know, I just pulled a trump card and I went to the administrator and I was like, well, you know, you need to tell the parent that the child cannot, you know, wear these glasses, you know, in the moving up ceremony. Because they were like, you know, big, gaudy, flashy glasses. But, you know, when I tried to contact you about your child and, you know, ask you to help me help your child, you didn't even show up for the meeting. And I told you that your child couldn't read. But then you sent me a letter saying that, you know, your child is going to be excused for a week because he has a football game down in Florida that you're taking him to. But when I asked you to come and meet with me so I can, you know, give you some pointers and give you some, you know, extra things to work with your child to boost his reading, you didn't show up. So guess what?
Interest.
None whatsoever. So that's your child. That's your future. So when he's at home at 35 years old, I want you to remember when I tried to help you help your child and you basically ghosted me and you didn't allow me to help you help your child. So guess what? That's on you at the end of the day. Yeah. So I don't have a fight in this anymore. You know what I'm saying? No. I'm just trying to do what I got to do so I can retire. And a lot of educators have, you know, they have taken this stance. And, you know, it's like we're tired of being, you know, harassed by the students, harassed by the parents, you know, because it's not worth it anymore. You know, you got children that are fighting adults. But adults can't put their hands on the child. But, you know, the child is just supposed to, you know, come up and, you know, just beat the adult ass. We had a child break a teacher's ribs. You know what I'm saying? Assaulted a teacher. But they don't, they don't want us to press charges on these children, and things like that or whatever. So I'm just like, if that's the kind of person that you're raising, guess what? I'm going to allow you to raise that person, because at the end of the day, I'm from the South. I'm retiring back in the South, and that child has no benefit to me whatsoever when I retire, because I'll be back in Louisiana.
So I heard today it was a shooting at, is it these 3 black young gentlemen died. It was, and I think they was murdered by another young black man.
They were from the what was it, University of Virginia or something like that. He was a football player. So he had, so basically what I got from it was he had daddy issues.
What issues?
Daddy issues. The parents, split up, and so once the parents were divorced or whatever, dad dropped out of his life for like a long time, and then he popped back up or whatever. So he never really got over the part where his parents separated and why he was not in the home. So the child, I'm assuming the child never received counseling, and so he never got to process those feelings, and so all that stuff was just harboring inside of him. And so I guess he's just at his breaking point at this point. So he went back and killed people, and that was the reason. That's what I got from it. So if I'm wrong, then I stand corrected. So somebody can let me know if I'm wrong or not.
Now, are you taking a soft stand because he's a black killer and he killed?
No, I'm not. I'm really not. This is what I feel.
Okay.
All right. No, this is what I read. Like, honestly, but I tell
a lot of us got daddy issue. We ain't going shooting up nobody. Come on now,
but you gotta understand, we're not dealing with people like us. We're dealing with these young people, and these white psychologists have really messed up these children, because they don't allow these children to cope with anything. They don't allow these children to fail with nothing. Everything has to be positive. Everything has to be a yes. Everything has to be all it is. And anytime that if you look at the breakdown of any of these shootings, these people had coping issues. This young man that just killed all these people on that campus, he had coping issues. He did not know how to process his feelings. His father was the problem. He left the home. He did not cope with that. So now since you're in college, you're still battling coping issues. And so you don't know how to process your feelings. So guess what? You feel like you got to shoot people. The young man in Texas, I want to say it was like North Texas, who shot up the school, he had coping issues. You know why he said he shot up a school? Because he was rejected by a female. He didn't know how to process that information. He was rejected. The young man who shot up in the school in Miami, coping issues. His parents passed away. He didn't know how to deal with it. So, we're setting these children up for failure when, we don't allow them to fail as children. Those are life lessons. We're teaching them how to maneuver through life, how to process your anger, how to process your feeling, how to cope with just the minor things. But if you take that away from them, guess what? You have an adult that doesn't know how to cope, that doesn't know how to process their feelings. So how do you fix, like what's his name said, it's easier to fix a broken child than it is to fix a broken man or a broken woman.
So now the penal system is going to have to deal with their coping. So when they could not cope in a free environment, they're now going to go and be caged like an animal, and the is still no resolution. So,
well, the penal system was supposed to be a rehabilitation program or whatever, but we already know, how that rocks and roll and, things like that. But, you have to address the elephant in the room. Mental health is it's my second career. It's not my first. But, from my standpoint, we have to allow these children to fail. We have to allow these children to hear the word no. We have to allow these children to process feelings, to, handle how they deal with anger and things like that, because at the end of the day, you're going to continue to have more mass shootings. You're going to continue to have more workplace shootings. You're going to continue to have more school shootings, because these people have not been allowed to cope and have not been allowed to process their feelings. You know what I'm saying? When we were children, we were told no. For example, I was reading an article some years ago. They had a Easter egg hunt in Colorado. So the parents made such a big to-do about the Easter egg hunt, and what if my child doesn't find the egg, and how would they feel if they're not included, and if they didn't do this. So they cancel the Easter egg hunt. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to also in sports, every child has to play. Every child is not athletic. So, you have to teach your children that, in some spaces you're not going to be great, but you can be great in other spaces. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, you have a person who's a manager, and this person thinks that, oh my God, I'm a great leader, I'm a great manager, but you destroyed the building. Everybody left, everybody quit their jobs, all because of you, because you don't know how to lead. Just because you have a certification or things like that does not mean you're equipped to perform that job. So people have to learn how to cope, and they have to learn how to stay in their lanes. For example, my brother and I, my little brother came up here this weekend, so we talked about a lot of stuff, right? So we were talking about dating, and so he was like, should women have to drop down to another a man's standard if she is not accustomed to that? And I said no. I said, a woman should never have to drop down to, please a man and his standard. That's between him and his standard. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like, you want this beautiful woman, you want her to look great, you want her to look good, you don't have to put some, you're going to have to spend some time, and you're going to have to spend some money, because, you're not going to get nothing for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if you can't afford that woman, date in your lane, date someone who, is, the woman that you can afford, basically. You know what I'm saying? So you have very high-end women who like certain things, and who are accustomed to certain things. So you want this woman, you see this woman, she's beautiful, you're like, oh my God, this is my dream girl. And then you get to her, and then you're like, oh well, I can't do this, I can't do that. But you knew what type of person she was before you even tried to get her. So why are you
talking about you?
No, we're not.
Cause you know how you be like, I'm not going on a $28 date. No, ma'am, no restaurant.
I have food allergies.
I like how you clear. You said I have food allergies, and those lower end restaurants, Chili's, Applebee's. I can't.
But I'm just saying, dating your lane, so people have to understand everything is not for everybody. Just like when I think it was Christian Louboutin, right? So some people were saying that, his shoes are not made for Black people. But, I have like 5 pairs of his shoes. Everything is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? If your foot is, wide and big and you can't wear the shoe, that shoe was not made for you. You know what I'm saying? So you get a brand, or you get a shoe that is made to fit you. You know what I'm saying? Just like with certain designers, I can't wear their clothes because I'm a Black woman. I'm thick, I'm big boned, and it's not made for me. It's made for thin white women. You know what I'm saying? So why am I gonna get upset about you catering to the crowd that you cater to? No, I'm just gonna find a designer and clothes that I know that I can wear and that I can fit. I'm not gonna get upset and be like, oh well, their clothes are not for Black women, and this is another. Damn your clothes. I'm not gonna go in your store, and I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna continue shopping at Banana Republic, and get my slacks from there, and do what I do and shop where I know I can wear the clothes. And that's just the bottom line. So we have to understand certain things in life, and that's just the way it is with the children. They have to understand coping mechanisms. They have to understand disappointments. So if you never give a child a disappointment or anything, they're not going to know how to process when they are disappointed. For example, I had and then I'm gonna let you chime in. I had a colleague that was saying that she doesn't allow her children, like, when we have like the little holidays and they bring cards such as, Valentine's Day. And she was like, everybody has to bring a card for everybody. I said, why? Well, they have to give everybody in the classroom a card. Why? They may not like everybody in the classroom. Because I know me, if I'm giving out gifts, I'm giving gifts to the people that I like. I'm giving gifts to the people that I fuck with. If I don't fuck with you, excuse my language, I'm not giving you a gift. So why are we forcing this upon children that we have to give these things to, other children? If they don't like the child, let them make their own decision. They give out, Valentine's Day cards to who they want to give out. This is a part of life lessons. You know what I'm saying? So you're teaching a child that, although I don't really care for this person, I still have to do this for this person. No, you don't. You know what I'm saying? everything that we do with children is a life lesson. So we have to teach these children life lessons. So when they're adults, they can handle the business and they can process it and they can cope, because it all falls back to coping. Everything falls back to coping. You know, just think about it. When a woman is raped, what they blame it on?
A woman?
They never blame the man. They blame it on the woman. Well, if she wouldn't have been dressed like this, she never would have got raped. So we can't fault the guy because he has, he has sexual issues. He has a sexual problem. He's a sexual predator. So we can't fault him for having those issues, but we have to fault the woman, and she can't wear what she wants.
I think even think through the evolution of life. I think you have certain areas, like you said, coping skills, double standards, ethnic group, culture, slavery. I think people just choose not to understand. They just choose because I want to be right. And me being right is actually making my adult son or daughter developmentally delayed without a check. I had somebody come and visit me a couple of weeks ago, and they brought their adult son with them, and I was a little perplexed. And I watched the person interact with their adult son, and I said to her, "You have crippled this young man." I said, he and I was talking. I said, every conversation I had with him, you need to intercede and what they call a helicopter mom. And I said to her, you have instilled, you are, even though your child is legally grown, you just want you don't want your child to make any mistakes. You don't want him to fail. I said, and when he fail, he's going to get an inmate number because you have set him up in a way that the world doesn't operate like that. I said, so after I had a conversation with a young man, and after he left, they left. He said, "Mom, I want to thank Miss Ida for talking to me. She helped me see life in a way." I said, you need a certain bad credit, somebody breaking your heart. I said, you got things from a milestone point of view that must occur in your youth. Certain things must occur in your 20 and 30. I said, because if, like you said, if you don't learn how to cope, by the time you run into something that should not shut you down, you're going to get a gun. You're going to curse somebody out. You're going to get fired. And people are going to see so much potential in you, but then they're going to see that parent, your childhood, that you really never dealt with certain issues that keep showing back up. And after some point, people are not going to care. Well, I said to her, once your son hits 25, you know, when you get to a certain, people stop trying to mentor, they stop trying to coach you, they then say you're going to learn the hard way. And so I said to someone, we came from, I know each generation has their own cross of it. Generation X, Baby X, Boomers. And what I have noticed from my observation, people that went through certain things that end up being in a level of power and control, they took their childhood and changed laws and rules to accommodate something that happened to them as a child. Like if Johnny can't get a Easter basket, we don't need to ever have an Easter basket game ever again. And so now we are dealing with adults in their 30s, 40s, and even some 50, that when you talk to them, you can see they never learned to cope with certain aspects of stuff. They having meltdowns and breakdowns. And my logic, get a check for that, honey. Don't be just cray for free. Get a check for it. And so as you watch young people, old people, just people in general, you're going to see some of us have missed the mark in our life. We have missed some great opportunity. I say to somebody, every time somebody says something, you don't need to go to HR. I don't need to sue you. Why everything got to be, you're going to pay for hurting my feelings. I did a comedy show at work one day. They asked me, under my business of doing comedy, I offended someone. I did my job. A comedian, we supposed to push line. Next thing you know, she reported me as the employee, and they had a full-blown investigation. You know what the lawyer said? Those jokes were motherfucking funny. You hurt her feeling. Oh my God, that's what you said? I did. Then I pulled out my LLC contract that said I was a contractor. And so the young lawyer that was investigating, she was 28. She see this 58-year-old woman upset about what a 45-year-old black woman said about, and she was upset. And then she wants some cheese with her wine. And so nobody had never heard of. I said, and the young girl was saying she couldn't believe a middle-aged woman was reporting someone for making a joke. I said, well, you got to realize if you go and pull her work record, we have coddled her. Anytime the truth being told, we have coddled her. And I said to her, it now have came at a price. Like you said, when we don't teach people coping mechanism, they become older version of can't cope with stuff. They become Karens. They become Karens and they have meltdown for no reason. They project stuff that has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
But if we're black, we end up in a box behind that. We're black, we're going to end up in prison behind that. Everybody coming back to the theme of this story, the show, no passes. No passes for you. No passes for you. And black people, we are perpetually overcorrecting our life, our behavior, our hairstyle to conform. I went to a job recently. I've started my own business. And so I said, I think you want to go and buy you a car. You might need a W-2 to go and get this car for 3 weeks. So you go and do it on you. And so the person said, well, you need to take your piercing out. I said, no, ma'am. Nope.
We can't hear you. You went on mute.
I said to her, I'm not taking a piercing out. I took my piercing out when I was in the military. Take me as I am. Otherwise, go and find someone that can conform. You're the most qualified. I said, that's why I'm asking for the most money. I said, I have gotten a stage in my life that I don't have to. I said, so let me understand. This piercing that I have in my face bothers you so much that you don't want to hire me. And I said, then you shouldn't hire me. I said, well, you could, because you know what? I'm going to have something else that you're going to want me to conform to. And I'm going to be so far in the box. It's not about the skill set, and that's okay. I said, you hire someone that already come in the box that you like. And one of my girlfriend, I think that's because you were black. I said, no, maybe they got something with piercing. I said, I'm not in the military. Why I don't need the job that bad. I said, I'd go work for yourself so you can look however you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, and I get it. No, and I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah, because I've had some situations where that has happened to me or whatever, and I just let them know, look, baby, I'm not pressed for no job. I'm gonna holler at you, deuces. And I walked out of interviews. You know what I'm saying? Because what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna belittle me. You're not gonna talk to me any kind of way. You're not gonna handle me. All right, I'm gonna holler at you. You missing out on my skill set. I'm not missing out on anything because I'm good over here. Because I'm always gonna eat. But I want to thank you, Miss Ida, for coming back. You my girl. I love you.
I'm here to help. I'm team A.
Look, I told her she like Velcro. We gonna stick together. We don't never part. Okay, we like Velcro. We gonna always be together.
I couldn't even find my good wig for y'all people today. I'm looking like Marge Simpson out of rain. I said, oh my God,
but that's okay. We got you next week though. So I want to thank you for coming back to the show and giving us your great insight, because everybody was asking, where's Miss Ida? Where's Miss Ida? So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show for tonight, and make sure you tune in, click like, share, and tune in for next week. We're gonna have some more hot topics, some more great conversation, and we're gonna move into like this education thing, because we're gonna be leading up to a panelist of educators with Miss Ida and myself on November 28th. And so make sure you tune in, hit that like, share button, and check us out on All Around on YouTube. Deuces, my loves.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the sea and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
place that I call.
The one explaining to her that